Hello and welcome back to Jasmine and Juniper, the podcast. I could not be more thrilled to introduce you to my beautiful and amazing guest. She is also a dear friend of mine, a mentor, and an inspiration. I have Emily Wright, the founding executive and president of doTERRA Essential Oils. Emily is an incredible leader. She has immense vision and she can see far into the future, especially when she looks into the heart of an individual that she's working with. Emily has the ability to see your potential. And I know this firsthand because when I met Emily over 14 years ago, I was a very broken person, showing up to this little essential oil company's convention. And Emily looked at me and I could feel that she saw this potential. So Emily is not only the president of this incredible billion-dollar company, but she is a wife, a mother, and now a grandmother. So we are so happy to have you on Jasmine and Juniper, the podcast. Welcome, Emily.
Oh, thank you, Erin. I've been so excited to be with you because you and I have such a history together, and it's been amazing for me just to watch the transformation in you. So I'm excited for this conversation.
Yes. And for me to watch the transformation in you, I have really watched you go from, I want to hear all about this story. Okay. So let's start there. When I first met you, we're in the similar age bracket. Yep. And you were this young woman, mother, who launched a really incredible business that all of us had a feeling doTERRA was going to be something big. But did you really know? Like what was going on in your mind when you launched this company? And I'm thinking back to that 300-person meeting we had at Little America in Utah.
Right. That was our official launch event. It was October 2008. I was only 34 years old. I don't know how old you were at that time.
Similar. Yeah. 33 maybe.
Yeah. So I was a young mother. I had 4 children and my youngest was just a year old. So definitely, was juggling family and a career, but I had been really doing that my whole life. But when the vision of doTERRA, I say came to my mind, but it came to my heart. Like that's where it really began. And just this vision of finding the most pure and potent essential oils on the planet and delivering them to the world in a way that people could really be empowered to take charge of their healthcare. That was so exciting to me. And as I had conversations with my business partners about what this could look like, I got so excited, and our vision became so big and so grand that from the beginning, we saw doTERRA as a very global business because we didn't want to just bless people that we knew and that were close to us. We wanted to bless people all around the world, but it has expanded. That vision has gotten so much bigger. Never did we imagine what we would be able to do through the lives of our wellness advocates and to see how their lives would be transformed and to see as they became healthy, as they became confident, as abundance came into their life, the good that they would do in the world. And right, it's like when you feel that you're really living up to your full purpose in life, like you come alive and it changes something inside of you. And I believe that's the gift that we were able to give to so many people, but also to see what we've been able to do on the other side of the bottle through our co-impact sourcing initiatives, through Healing Hands, and literally lifting up communities all over where we source these plants to produce these beautiful essential oils. It just has my heart, and I've become so addicted because my favorite thing on the planet to do is to unlock human potential and do that every day.
I'm so glad you're saying this because, to be honest, network marketing, which doTERRA is a network marketing company, has a black eye, rightfully so.
Absolutely.
And there are days when I say, I don't want to be a network marketer. right? And I don't know if you feel this way, if that ever comes across your heart, but the thing that gets me out of it is co-impact sourcing.
Mm,
And I reframe that in my head and I go, I'm not a network marketer. I'm a champion of the plants and the people who grow these plants and source these beautiful oils for us. And when I can reframe that, that's when my business works. But I'm
yes.
just curious, how do you feel about the network marketing industry and doTERRA's part in that?
So I grew up really disliking direct sales, network marketing, multi-level marketing, whatever name you give it. My dad always thought that he could be successful doing network sales. And so he would drive me across the nation in our big red station wagon with the polyester curtains my mom had made. And I was the oldest of 5 children. So I was always the one that was the caretaker of the children while they would go into different trainings or conventions. My dad would pop in the cassette tape and we would listen to, these promotional, motivational tapes all the way there and all the way back. And I watched my dad have these big, big dreams and work hard and never succeed. And so I really grew up despising direct sales in general. And then I worked for a direct selling company. And for 10 years, I watched what could be such an amazing, beautiful model if integrity is at the heart of it, right? And what I saw happen was we had leaders that were competing against one another, and it was not a collaborative environment. And so I saw what could be amazing, but wasn't, just because of some of the choices that the owners had made. And there was a lot of division that existed there. So when the idea of doTERRA came to be, we had a real heart-to-heart conversation about how we wanted to take these beautiful gifts of the earth that were so pure, and how do we keep that pure intention throughout our business? How do we get them into the hands of the people that can really be blessed by them? And we didn't want to keep that vision small. We wanted it to be grand. We wanted to help as many people as we could. And as we had these experiences, we started with just 5 oils. It was frankincense, lavender, lemon, tea tree. Did I say peppermint?
No, peppermint.
those 5 oils. And we had these experiences with them. We didn't want to keep them to ourselves. So the question was, how do we get them into the hands of the people that can really benefit? Do we go through health food stores? Do we go through online sales? Social media really in 2008 didn't exist. I wasn't even on Facebook back then. And so we really had to decide how to do this. And we decided it needed to be person to person. They had to be experienced. People had to understand the stories that live in us, right? As we use frankincense or as we use peppermint, how did it change our health for the better? And so as we chose person to person, we said, okay, if we truly are going to step into the direct sales model, that means we need to break the mold and we need to do it differently. And we need to lead with purpose. We need to lead with people in mind, and to make sure this beautiful, amazing product is protected. And so we did. We broke the mold completely. And I think many companies are still looking at doTERRA as that gold standard, saying, how is this being done? And really, it's the people that we have led with. It's all been done by design with great intention. But also, as the company has continued to evolve, we realized that it had to be even bigger than what we were doing through our sales model in helping so many people get well, which we love to do. Our purpose is to help the world heal. But we realized that there was healing that needed to happen on the other side of the bottle. As we went into these areas where we source essential oils, we realized that there were real struggles, that many of them didn't even have access to clean water or medical care. Many of the children weren't being educated because 2/3 of the oils we source from around the world come from developing countries. We're sourcing from 47 different countries around the world. And so we realized that we had the ability through our nonprofit organization called Healing Hands to go in and literally lift up these communities, provide them with these real needs that they had, and to put them on a trajectory to change their future, to give them that hope and the means that they needed to have sustainable income coming through the labor that they were giving through planting the seeds and harvesting the plants, but then also to build up their whole community. And we've been able to measure this economic and social impact that we're creating, because we always want to give more than we receive. And it's such a beautiful thing that we get to be a part of. And I think the whole family of doTERRA, and truly as a family, now gets to be a part of this, knowing every single time you purchase a bottle of oil, you're making a difference in someone's life on the other side of the bottle. But now when you get involved with the business side of doTERRA, your influence, your impact has been magnified, and you literally are lifting up communities through your efforts.
Yeah, that's beautiful to hear. And I love being grounded in that. And I think for a lot of people listening, it's so helpful to understand this. And also for other network marketers, one of the gifts we have at doTERRA is because of this intentionality that you and your partners have put to this. We have real customers. We have real product users.
Yes.
The sustainability, I'm 14 years now with your company. And for over 12 of those years, it's paid all my bills. And that's been consistent, whether I'm giving birth to a baby or I'm out in the field working. And that really is because people love the product.
Yes.
And that's such a gift. And you can't say that with every other network marketing company. A lot of places, people would be gone the instant the income changed or wasn't working out because they don't really care about the product. So I'm so grateful to you and your partners for creating it this way.
I've worked in corporate America for much of my career. And in corporate America, there are limitations put on us on how much we can make, whether we can get that promotion we want, right? A lot of that is determined by our gender, our education, our ethnicity, our age, all of the things where someone else is determining our worth. And I don't like that model. I was caught up in that model. I was paid half the amount of my male counterparts sitting on having an executive board seat, right? Because I was a woman. And for me, as we started doTERRA, I want to give every single person the opportunity to be in the driver's seat, where they get to determine their future. They get to determine their influence, their impact. They get to determine what their purpose is, and to be able to bless so many people in the process. When you talk about you have real customers, you do. 82% of the people that purchase doTERRA products are simply customers. They rely on these products every single day to stay healthy, to feel amazing. And that's as essential to them as their food is. And I'm so proud of that fact that we have that retention. But I also love that mamas like you, Erin, can fit doTERRA into your busy life. That it doesn't have to be a corporate America where you have to be there from 9 to 5, whether it's raining or snowing like today. Like I had to drive through a terrible snowstorm to get into the office because I had some important meetings that I had to be to. I'm so proud of the fact that our wellness advocates get to be in the comfort of their own home, and they get to choose their schedule. They get to choose who they work with. They get to work with their best friends, and they get to determine how big their influence is in the world, right? Depending on how much time you want to dedicate to your doTERRA business. And it's there through the different seasons of your life, because seasons will ebb and flow. Sometimes there are busy seasons. Sometimes there's catastrophic or traumatic seasons in your life where you need to take the foot off the gas in your business. But yet when you come back to it, because of the amazing retention that we have, your business is still there waiting for you. It doesn't go away like most even in direct sales, usually the retention is so low that if you are not constantly selling product to people, your business dissolves and crumbles in an instant. But in doTERRA, that's not the case. It'll still be here waiting for you. And you can pick it up where you're ready and then continue to build and grow and take it to the next level.
Yes. Let's talk about being a mom and an entrepreneur. So you had a 1-year-old
I
when you
did.
launched doTERRA.
Yes.
So I imagine that you have something inside of you in your heart that was pulling you forward. And there was a choice that you had to make in that moment.
Yes.
Can you share with us what that was like to choose this mission, knowing that you were going to be maybe not the traditional stay-at-home mom with the babies all the time?
I'm definitely not a traditionalist, never have been. So I had come from corporate America, right? As I left my executive role for integrity purposes. And that was a hard decision for me to make because I was the main breadwinner for my family. We had fortunately gotten ourselves out of debt. So I did get to make the decision to come home. And my choice was to be home with my 4 children. We had a very busy household. My husband was working as a law enforcement officer at the time. So he was working different shifts, day, night, afternoons, all different types of shifts. And I was so excited to finally, for the first time, be home with my children, not have to worry about leaving them to go to a job. And it wasn't but a couple of weeks after I'd been home that my husband posed this question to me of, there's something more you're supposed to do. And he'd asked me, if I could see it. And I couldn't. To be honest with you, I was very angry that he would even come up with the idea that I should do more than being a mom. Because for me, that's my whole reason for being. I love being a mom so much. I love being a wife, and I loved being there with them. But he kept coming to me and said, "There's more you're supposed to do, and you're supposed to do it with Dave, and you're supposed to do it with Dr. Hill." And there was a day that he finally said, "Stop thinking with your head, and start thinking with your heart." And in that moment, everything shifted for me. And I was shown this beautiful vision of empowered families and empowered women all over the world, because women have my heart. I love the men too. They're amazing. And I have so many great mentors that are men in my life. But for me, it was the women, because I knew what it felt like not to be valued because of my gender. And as I saw this so clearly, I couldn't deny it. Like, to deny it would be denying the very essence of my soul. And so as I made that call to move forward in this, it was a hard decision, because I knew that meant I was jumping back in, and I wasn't 100% dedicated to my family. But I can tell you something I've learned, that I am a better wife. I am a better mother, living this life filled with passion and filled with purpose than I ever would just being with my children 24/7. Because if you are with your children 24/7 and you're not filled with purpose, I would be a shell of the person that I am today, and they wouldn't be getting the best me. And I know that looks different for every single person, but I know I'm a better wife and mother, living the life that I live now, even when it's messy, even when it's crazy.
I understand that. Before we started recording, you were sharing and we were talking about what it means for our kids to see us living our dreams.
Yes.
And it made me think that there is this sense, at least for me, once you have children, where you're passing the baton to the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not so much about them having me every moment of their life, but it's more about me paving a way for them to go live their most beautiful, brilliant life. And I do believe the same as you, that we need to empower women. It was the 1970s and women could not even get a credit card.
It's crazy that it's been that recent.
Isn't that crazy? And it's
Yes,
because of moms and women who were willing to break outside the norm and do something different that allowed our generation to go, oh, I can do that. That is possible for me.
exactly. And I love that you are demonstrating that, Erin, with the work that you are doing. You are giving other women permission to rise up, right? To live outside of the norm, to know that life can look different. And as we were talking earlier, I think one of the greatest gifts that I've been able to give to my children is for them seeing me live this purpose-filled life, to see them really having a front row seat to watching me pursue my dreams, and to bring them in, to let them be a part of it, so that they can see the impact of the lives of the people that I get to work with. They love going to these developing countries and actually seeing what co-impact sourcing means. They love coming to events and talking to people to learn how their lives have been changed, maybe simply by a bottle of lavender or a bottle of peppermint. And to see that my work has purpose, it has meaning. And it's really been able to open their eyes and their hearts up to knowing they can accomplish anything they set their mind to. Anything that they believe that they can accomplish, they can do. And I love now that I have the means to provide them with whatever support they need to be able to pursue those dreams. That feels amazing as a mother, to know like there's nothing holding them back other than themselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have to tell you my cute oil story with my girls. And I want to hear if you have a profound oil story you want to share, but their favorite oil is Tamer.
Love it.
And what's so cute about it is if either one of them, so Emma is 5.5 and Olivia is 2.5, if they have a stomach ache, they say, Mom, I need Tammy. So they've renamed it Tammy. They know, they roll it on their belly and it helps them.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite oil or something you've used as a
I
mom?
have so many oil stories, but mine are always like what's happened recently. I have two. I love seeing the next generation growing up with essential oils. So I'm now a Mimi. I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old grandson and granddaughter. And they were just at my house. And my little grandson had a cough. And he knew he needed stronger. And so he laid on my lap and he lifted up his shirt and he wanted it on his spine. And then he gave me his feet and he wanted it on his feet. And for me, it was just this moment of great connection, because these oils allow us to connect as human beings. It allows us to connect to nature, to connect to the creator of these plants, the creator of us, but also for us to connect with each other. And it's the most beautiful, nurturing thing that I can do for my children or my grandchildren. I love my 20-year-old son just recently wasn't feeling well. And he asked me if I would give him it was actually a Symphony of the Cells that we did for him. And it's an oil application that we do along the spine and on the feet. And so he laid on the massage table and I was able to put my hands on him and apply these oils on his back. And for almost an hour, I was just able to be there, connected with him, just invested in who he is and helping him overcome the challenges. And what happens with the oils is we start with the physical, but we very quickly go to the emotional and the spiritual. And that connection is so magnificent. And as he came off that table, you could just see the peace that overcame him, the gratitude that was in his heart, because it helped us connect more closely, right, as son to mother. And I love those moments so much, and grateful that I'm able to have these tools where I can help my family no matter what they're going through, right? My fur babies too. Like I could tell you story after story with my dogs and horses, and where we get to pull out the oils, and it's just amazing to see what they can do for us, because our bodies recognize these volatiles that come from plants, and they know what to do with them. There's no guessing game. Like, when you're taking medicine, it has to figure out, what is this thing that you're giving me? I don't recognize it. And what am I going to do with it? And it's working within one pathway in the body. These oils are already recognized by the body, and it's working multiple pathways at the same time. So you might be using it because you've got some head tension, and all of a sudden you realize it supported that digestive discomfort that you had, right? Or you have more energy or more clarity of thought. And that's because it's working in multiple pathways. It's awesome.
It never gets old. I get excited about essential oils, and I've been using them since I was 11 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, what do you see for the future of essential oils, but also doTERRA? Where are we headed with this beautiful medicine?
It's a great question. I think we all witnessed a lot as we've gone through this pandemic. And what I witnessed is a world filled with fear and uncertainty. And my desire in the work that we do is to give people confidence and assurity. And that's where I see the future of essential oils going, is we get to bless the people who are the stewards of these plants. And many people say, well, doTERRA is over 2 billion and growing, and we've got big plans to go, far beyond that. Are there enough plants on this planet to continue to support that growth? And the answer is absolutely. And that's the beautiful thing. When you go into countries like Kenya or Nepal, and just to see the growth potential, and to know as we grow, let's say we grow to a $10 billion company, which I absolutely know that we will do, to know that we get to 8 times our impact there, that we get to create so many more jobs. Already we've created impact for over 2.6 million people through our co-impact sourcing efforts. But we want that to be 1 million by 2030, and to grow, beyond that. And we give back to the earth much more than we take. So everything that we do is sustainable, right? So often through farming, you have damage that can be done to the earth, right? But we are so committed to making sure that that is sustainable, that the ability to grow that is massive. And I want to grow that because there's so many more people in these developing countries that need the help that we can offer. And it only happens if doTERRA grows. Now on the flip side, right? On the other side of the bottle, people like us that are dependent upon these essential oils for our health, for our physical health, for our emotional health, for our spiritual health, is so important. And what happens is, as we start using them, something inside of us shifts. I think about where I was 25 plus years ago when I was first introduced to essential oils. I was a young mother, 2 young children, and I was not living a healthy lifestyle. I was eating processed food, fast food. I was addicted to soda pop. This was my life. And even though to look at me at that age, I looked very healthy, I wasn't. And a lot of those health choices that I made back then, I'm still paying the price for and still overcoming and correcting. It takes a long time when you damage your body for that long. Today, I'm living this full wellness lifestyle. I am healthier now at the age of 49 than I was at the age of 24 when I was introduced to essential oils. And they change something in us where now we're desirous to be more healthy. We're craving healthier foods. We're reaching for water over the soda pop. And it happens slowly, but also it's very transformative. And it really becomes a wellness lifestyle that we commit to. And so I say, embrace essential oils with your whole heart, even if you're just starting to put them in the diffusers because they smell nice and you're noticing that they're uplifting your mood. It's changing so much more inside of you as we inhale that aroma in and sending neurotransmitters all throughout our body. So I definitely see a huge future of an empowered world, right? And we need more of these natural remedies in homes. We need an oil in every single home so that people don't have to live afraid. They can be confident.
And we're getting there. We're getting
We
so
are.
close to that. When a couple of years ago at our annual conference in Salt Lake City, you brought a lot of the growers on stage and they each had a flag from their
Yes.
country.
Yes.
And that made me more emotional than anything that week. Because the understanding of not only some of these countries cooperating with one another over a common cause,
Yes.
but also just understanding the upliftment that's happening, it touches my heart so much. So anyone listening, I'll put it in the show notes. Co-impact sourcing. There's a story behind every bottle. And it is truly such a beautiful aspect of doTERRA. And I feel what you're talking about. And it's so comforting to know that not only can the earth sustain our growth, but we actually need it.
We do. Yes. And it's, I think about a place like Oman. We have two amazing partners, sourcing partners by the name of Ashad and Saeed. And to see some of the innovation that's happening with frankincense, we have 4 different species of frankincense that we source. The Boswellia sacra comes from Oman. And they are actually taking cuttings of frankincense and also seeds of frankincense trees and cultivating them in nurseries, in greenhouses, and then they're planting them and having great success. That's never, ever been done before, because we're so committed to the sustainability and health of the trees that we're really looking at this saying, okay, how can we truly evolve to make sure that we have enough supply of frankincense? But by doing that, we're creating new jobs. We're completely changing the economics of that country, something that they're so proud of. And it's amazing. And then you go into a country like Somaliland, and to see with the Boswellia furriana and the Carterii species there, it's the only place on the planet where they grow and they thrive. And to see what we've been able to create there in a place where we sat down with women who grade the tiers, and we said, okay, we are going to change this entire supply chain. No longer do we want you working with growers. We really are brokers. We want to work directly with you. And so tell us what your needs are. What are your primary needs today? Because as we go into each of these countries, their needs are different. The needs in Somaliland are very different from the needs in Oman, right? Oman's a rich country. And so for them, it's about protecting their heritage and this legacy of frankincense. Now we come into Somaliland. Yes, it's protecting that heritage and legacy, but also they're so dependent upon frankincense just to survive. And so we said, what do you need? We found out that the number one reason for fatality, for death there, was women in childbirth, because they had no access to medical care. And so through our compact sourcing efforts, through doTERRA Healing Hands efforts, we're able to build a state-of-the-art hospital in the Sanag region. Right when the UN said you're crazy, Doctors Without Borders says you're crazy. There's no way you can do something like this in this part of the world. We took the most difficult region of the entire world and we put a state-of-the-art hospital in it. And it is blessing thousands and thousands of lives, and that will only continue to grow. So yes, I'm very proud of the work that we're doing.
You should be. Well, Emily, it's been such a pleasure to chat with you. And I know everyone listening has learned something new and connected deeper with essential oils and hopefully learned a little bit about doTERRA. To the listeners, if somebody came across your mind and you thought they need to listen to this episode, please take a screenshot, share it on social media. Both Emily and I are over on Instagram, so I'll put our handles in the show notes. We'd love to connect with you. And please give the show a 5-star rating and a review. It helps more people find this show. Emily, any parting words before we close up?
My parting words would be for anyone listening to the show, and I love that you're doing this, Erin. You're doing such a magnificent job, but is to lead with authenticity. I think that's something that I had to learn the hard way. because I thought that I needed to behave and look a certain way in order to be respected and to be successful. And what I've learned is to embrace all of my raw emotion, to embrace my femininity, to embrace my creativity, because that's where I can create the greatest impact in the world. And when I lead out that way, it gives other people permission to lead out the same way. And so figure out what are you best at? What do you love to do? What are you most passionate about? And figure out how to lead that way, because the world needs more people that are truly living their life with passion, with purpose, and they're confident in that. There's no apologies.
I love it. Thank you again. And to all the listeners, hear you next time.